This is the Public Safety Special Broadcast. We were off last week. I was doing stuff with my family. I don't need to know about that. But we are back with a new chapter episode. Wow, it's a crazy chapter. We'll get to that in a minute. Before we do, let's dive into the introductions. Everybody introduce yourself, give your name, age, and devil contract. I am, of course, your host, Secret Doves, age 33 still. And my devil contract is with the War Devil, obviously, of course. Dorky, go ahead.
Yo, I am Dorky. I'm 26. My devil, I didn't think about this. We'll say the Cursed Devil, just to go off my Twitter timeline.
Yeah, the JJK. Let's go. It's popping. Crazy stuff.
It's cursed.
Awesome.
Yes, mildly. Go ahead.
Okay, hello. My name's May. I am technically 21, but tomorrow I am 22, so awesome. My devil contract is with the Fish Devil, the one that Aki and Himeno killed during the Gon Devil reveal.
Oh yes.
And, that's awesome. I am father. That's like my devil contract. Anyways, that's who I am. Oh, and I'm a Twitter artist, I guess. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And I am Crash, age 31. So 31. Last time I was in podcast, I was 30. So yeah, it's been a while.
Let's go.
And my contract is with the Void Devil. That's why I've been avoiding.
The Void?
Yeah.
What does it do? Are you like a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, I just disappear for a That's my power. It's a good power.
Yeah. You know,
sometimes.
everyone's like, where'd Crash go? That's just how it is. Just how it is.
Need to get better at it.
And to the void.
Yeah.
Well, back for this chapter review. Let's just discuss this chapter. Let's get into it. Chapter 154, titled "All Pets," which is an interesting chapter.
Yeah, it was a good chapter. I will say, I think this chapter, the best thing to come out of this chapter was Chainsaw Fog completely breaking down because of Fumiko.
The Fumiko fandom rumbled, and
all the Twitters absolutely
it
destroyed.
happens in the first few pages. So let's just dive straight into it.
Yeah, let's go into that.
We open on the scene. Everybody's battling. It's chaos. Nayuta's controlling people, and Fumiko and Nayuta have their back and forth, and then Fumiko just gets out of there. Skedaddles.
Yep.
Fraud, one might say.
In the second page, we have like the first time Fujimoto has done like power scaling on part 2 with like I can only send 3 chains.
Yes. Probably the first time ever. I don't know. Has there ever been any sort of
that's a good question.
Power limitations ever known?
I guess power limitation.
Aki's like Fox Devil contract technically, where
I want to say like the closest thing to a feat description in this series is like when the Gun Devil got summoned in the middle of part 1, and then they gave the casualty count, I guess, and the time frame.
In the list
I guess power scalers went crazy with that. Yeah.
And the Cursed Devil too, because it's like a set of steps for a very specific result.
It's 3 conditions. So there's been a little bit, but this is definitely the first in part 2. You have no limits on what Yori can do yet, which is just let's go.
Bless.
But who knows, man?
We can be delusional all we want.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man 2 is pretty like anything goes with its power set. So
yeah, it's more like conditions, like the contract conditions that we have. Even on part 1, I think most of what you guys are describing kind of like limitations on what the user can do, but not really. Like fiends have had like limitations.
Who? I guess like
yeah, who? I guess Bauer with like the blood
but
thing,
not like
like she can
explicitly.
be anemic.
Yeah.
The blood requirements to regen, all this kind of stuff. There are limits, but not
But
like
it's very vague, you know.
Yeah.
It's mostly to serve the storytelling for the most part.
That's how they should do it. That's my opinion on storytelling. That's how good power systems work. They're vague.
Well, I think this one is nice. The 3 chains is a very nice like. Oh, she's weaker than Makima was. Makima had like insane amounts of chains.
I thought it was like kind of obvious because she hasn't even done like the bang, but at least we got some confirmation, I guess.
Yes, she can't do the bang, unless well, we'll get there. Okay, let's talk about Fumiko. It's over. It's all over for Fumiko.
I am on the camp that it never even started. Like, people were just delusional or horny. That's the reason why she even had fans. Yeah.
Bro, her backstory's big. Fuck Fumiko.
I mean, I think I was thinking about Fumiko's character after this. It's very interesting. It's actually quite an interesting character. After this, I was very happy with this development, actually.
Oh, me too. I was like vindicated because it's like almost entirely like inspired by like the Choo Choo Lovely song, that one song.
It's a great song.
He got introduced with. Yeah.
Nothing like some insane what do you call that? New metal to really get you going in the wrong direction.
I'm not. Yeah, whatever. We can be vague. We're Chainsaw fans, Talking about pop culture analog. Anyways.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we love those on this show.
But yeah, fucking Fumiko got absolutely destroyed by the story, and I am glad it happened because a lot of people forget that she embarrassed Denji during the first meeting just because she had a sprinkle of a backstory. It's terrible.
Well, I mean, she's also it's very she's a very interesting character to me because it's kind of thing we haven't had in Chainsaw Man very much, which is just like a normal kind of like shitty person.
You don't even have a devil contract to make her not normal. That's how normal she is.
She's literally just like some shitty person.
Stalker with a gun. That's it.
I feel safer about Fumiko's character with regards to just not being one that we're necessarily going to fully regret having in this series because of this chapter. Because Fujimoto's not glorifying anything about this character. She is trash. And we can explore why she's trash and what that means for her, for Denji, etc. More realistically now.
She is
so memes aside, it's also a big relief for me the past couple chapters.
Me too. I feel that same relief.
Thank God. Thank God we don't have another Himeno scenario.
I'm just glad
that I don't think Himeno was that trash.
I
think she's deeply flawed.
Yeah, trash. Himeno was not spying on a bathroom's kids bathroom, kind of bad. Yeah. She was drunk bad, not sober watching people bad.
I'd say Himeno's irresponsible, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't put them on the same level.
Exactly.
All right, not to be a Fumiko defender, but to be fair,
those
are public safety cameras.
Go back to Chainsaw Park.
She didn't necessarily install the cameras or she just call for them to be installed.
That's fair. I fully believe they were there before her assignment.
Yeah.
And she just told Denji to torture him a little bit.
I would agree, but she said specifically in verbatim, she said, who wouldn't want to watch Chainsaw Man's Wiener or something like that?
No, she said
that chapter.
Wiener, which is like
it feels like a bit of sadism to me, but I don't like. I genuinely am starting to feel like she's not competent enough to have snuck in security cameras into his home.
No,
at this
think
point.
she's like meant to.
Maybe that was someone else.
I think she's meant to like.
Oh, go on.
Oh, go ahead first. You were talking first.
No. Go. Please go.
Okay, whatever. I was gonna say that I think she's like meant to serve like that stereotype of a stalker, but it's like kind of weird because at the same time she doesn't stalk that much, or like at least we don't see her stalk. We just like, not to power scale fucking grooming, but we don't see any things. We just hear about her doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she doesn't feel as compelling as she could have been as a bad guy, in my opinion. Because we hear about most of her wrongdoing.
I don't think she's...
Aside from, the touching the wiener part in her introduction.
I don't still think she's supposed to be a bad guy, though. Or a villain.
Bad person, not bad guy.
Oh,
bad person.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, that's what I mean. Where she's like a normally bad person. Like, she's kind of
mundane.
Like,
I wouldn't know if normally, but.
Well, I mean, it's the kind of like
There's a lot of people like her out there. I think is kind of the point.
Yeah,
there's more than we like to acknowledge.
Right. It's like it's kind of.
There's a lot of fans out there who think like Fumiko. Like it's very toxic.
Yeah.
Indeed, like there's a how do you put it? There's an idea, her backstory like fits into this as well. There's the idea that like you have a tragic backstory and it like turns you into like a hero, or
you can excuse everything.
You become a better person, or no, like I mean, like this idea that like you suffer and then you become
better,
right?
Yeah.
She suffers and it like it makes her worse.
Yeah, I think it's more realistic. I mean, of course, depends on the person.
With this kid after this shit happens to her, and it's not like there's nothing redeeming about the backstory either. It's just like
it's just shit happened, and now I'm kind of take it out on you.
I reread that chapter like a few minutes ago, and what I like about her backstory is that when she's speaking about like Denji, she specifically refers to him like as a kid. So she like completely sober and in her right mind says that she's willing to do all of those bad things to a kid in her own eyes. That's like amazing in my opinion.
She's just like fucking shitty
gaslighter. Yeah, she's awful.
Real cop energy from Fumiko.
So like when people like try to argue, Denji's like 18, so it's not technically grooming. I'm like, she sees him as a kid. Like, come on, guys.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter if he's 18. Like, it's not.
It's okay. Yeah.
Don't do that shit to 18-year-olds, guys.
18-year-olds are kids.
Yeah, 18-year-olds. I hope no one sexually assaults you guys. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't worry. We're chilling here. We're chilling here.
All good. I think it's a very interesting thing as well, because obviously, like Nayuta's the face of nurture versus nature in this series, and you brought up the whole backstory thing with how we disingenuously act like a really tragic backstory makes for a better person, which is very rare, if ever the case. I find it very interesting that if you even believe Fumiko's backstory is real, it almost feeds into that nurture thing where, she got unlucky during the Gun Devil attack, seems to be carrying herself like an awful person, and stark juxtaposition with Nayuta, who, is a literal devil, but has had this like single year of somewhat normal family life with Denji, both with relation to Denji, actually, both characters, and are on opposite ends of the spectrum with regards to being respectable. So I think that's pretty interesting as well. Nayuta's not even human, so that's probably intentional to some degree if Fumiko's backstory is real.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves on the Control Devil's morality yet. We haven't.
That's
shit that happens in this chapter.
I will say,
She gave it a shot, though.
I might be reaching here. I might be reaching here, but I think there's another juxtaposition where, like, when Fumiko was talking to Denji and, like, dumping her backstory on him, she was expecting some kind of, like, empathy from him, and now Nayuta does that to her. Like, Nayuta drops like, "Hey, we just had like a terrible day," and she's like, "Whatever, man."
She says to herself, she's a fan second. She's not a real fan. Okay, she's a fake fan because she's a cop first. Jesus, what a cop, dude! This is real.
She's a diarrhea woman.
She was the cop of all time, a real diarrhea woman.
Exactly.
All right, let's leave the diarrhea woman behind. We've already spent a full quarter of this broadcast on her. She's out of the picture for now. When will she return? God, I don't want to know, but it's gonna make. Ooh,
she's getting off screen like Kishibe. No, I don't know.
Ooh, yeah. Fujimoto's just got another thing locked and loaded, ready to go.
I hope Fujimoto learns like Gege's secret technique, strong off screen.
Strong off screen. I think
Fumiko's gonna be like Endgame Part 2 or something. She's gone for like 20 chapters.
She got no diff by Punchy.
I mean, Yoru has been mostly absent for about 25 chapters.
Actually, I do hope that they meet together because I've been thinking about this. Like, this reminds me a little bit like a Very Cold Soul, where we have like Fujimoto has been developing like two different worlds. There's like Asa's world and there's Denji's world, and even though I am like not such a big fan of how he's been handling the story, I still think there's a huge opportunity for like a world clash, where like we see all of these things from Asa's like perspective clash with Denji's perspective, and I think that would be great for exploring.
A tale of two Tokyos.
I think that's coming soon. If anything, I think the current arc's not got much longer in it.
I fucking hope so.
We're transitioning soon.
That's it. I would say my biggest, it's like you said, you have some complaints about the handling. My biggest complaint about the handling is that we had to it's kind of the downside of the dual protagonist thing, right? He's got Asa's world and he's got Denji's world, and it's like we miss Asa, but also like we got all hyped for the life story. It's like Asa's story was like, yes, let's go, and now we're like, okay, now we're down here, and now we did the whole thing again. It's kind of hard to get hype again with
dude. You were just power spike, and then we haven't seen her in 5 chapters. What the heck?
Like, remember all the fucking speculation at the end of Falling Devil with like the whole ramping stakes and everything.
It's all just on hold while we develop Denji. And now we develop Denji finally. We're all like, okay, yes, that was cool, but like, goddamn, like, okay, we're hype again. Let's go. Are we gonna go?
I think it's one of those things that's gonna get better as a binge read, where it's for sure. You're like a couple of hours into Denji, then a couple of hours into Asa. When it's months, it's
when it's months, you're just like, come on.
Not to like make this like about like part 2 because this is about this chapter, but like quickly, I just reread it and I've reread like part 2 a few times, and I still think like that complaints holds up, but I do think that in like binge read and anime form, it's gonna be a lot better because one, binge read, you control the pace, and anime form, a lot of like chapter 147, like that Quincy chapter that everyone hated, like that's gonna be like a few minutes in an episode of an anime, for example.
It flows pretty. I've read the Denji arc a few times. It flows pretty well on the read. It's just like now, like I think even objectively though, when you have a story that it could go longer than part 1, but if you're 50 chapters into your series, over 50 now. It's like 56.
Yeah, it's over 50. A lot over 50, actually.
Yeah.
56, I want to say.
Yeah, you're going on 60 chapters in your serial, and you're like still setting more stuff up. It's like, damn, the back half of this story is better be absolute freak show, which is very
it has to be like
extremely likely.
It's Fujimoto.
We know what this guy is capable of. So like, I've never, he's had nice payoffs even within this arc that are like, damn.
You're saying like setting up. I mean, One Piece is setting up stuff all the time, even like chapter 1000. So it's like,
it's a different beat. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think One Piece will ever work though. It just doesn't make sense. It's too much.
Fujimoto's not doing all that. He'll get bored.
Going back, I want to make a comment on the chapter. Like going back to it, I think it's kind of nice. Like the past few chapters, I like how we get like a perspective of like the common people. Like there's this feeling that we have like people feeling the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I wish it was a lot bigger, but what we have is pretty nice. I like it a lot. Like how people are screaming and commenting on like their parents or like relatives getting affected by this or their work, etc.
Love the way he captures like misinformation spreading, like this guy being like, I heard their kids are turning into chainsaw man babies eating their parents, and some guy's like, who said that? And he's like, I don't know. I forgot.
The way the misinformation is there but not narrated is so refreshing in this series right now.
I like it a lot.
I mean, it's frustrating, but it's meant to be,
It fits with the theme of like normalcy in general that like part 2 has been developing from like Denji's arc onward.
Yeah, well, I had
you got a comment in this.
I think it's a part of Asa's arc too, because Asa is sort of the normal bystander, right? She's unrelated to everything that's going on. She's just like some girl at school, and she's
just a girl.
Yep, she's like Denji. She's just kind of this normal person. Although Denji was like in a very insane scenario, but he wasn't like, he's not public safety. He's not a devil. He's some kid, and then he gets caught up.
Yeah, it's one of those very few manga, I guess, where the overall plot of the story and the world is not actually related to the main characters. They're not. They are involved, but they don't want to be. They're just kind of like they stuck in it. They don't have the same. They're like,
right.
I think that's interesting because neither of them have like a goal. Like Luffy wants to find a One Piece, or
Yeah. They've got what if it
want to not be depressed?
Have a goal?
They have goals, but their goals that they want actually kind of are in the reverse of what the plot wants. They kind of the goal is to not do anything that they are doing, I'd say.
Damn, bro. Fujimoto's characters just have the worst time, don't they? Huh?
Yeah.
They're not having a good... This is not them partying, man. Even though we all
At least they're not
want it. We all want it. Well, Nayuta had a little bit of a good time. All right, let's talk about Nayuta homicide. Nayuta goes on with the spree here. Homicidal Nayuta. She helps Denji escape. He runs out. She's like, "You thought you did a big mistake. What a sick." That panel looks great. That panel.
It does.
It hits, man. That was good shit. But Nayuta relationship incredible in this whole arc. Easily carries the arc.
Yeah, I think Nayuta's and Denji's relationship is like carries the arc a lot. Not only because it's like sibling, your typical sibling relationship, but there's like subtext below, like how even beyond like the normal like, oh, she's the control devil and she's controlling, but also how they're not technically that good for each other. They are like good. They're good together, but they're not good for each other specifically.
A little codependent.
And
Yes.
that even gets brought up in this chapter. Like, and you thought you didn't need me, like, you know, exactly.
Yeah, that was like so out of tone compared to the rest of Nayuta. Well, no, not out of tone. Let me rephrase. It is the most aggressive Nayuta's been with regards to her dialogue towards Denji, like in all of part 2. And it's like, okay,
she's mad.
You know, we stripped away the the home life and all that, and we're back to our core a little bit with Denji and Nayuta, with the self-harm and the more controlled devilish dialogue. It's like, okay, what's going to happen here?
And when I was reading the discussion around this chapter, it amazed me that a lot of people like try to like wooify this like dialogue. Like they were like making it out to be like a cute thing. Oh, they're such siblings, and that's not good.
I don't know. It is not.
It's Fujimoto, so it could be, but it's like, I just don't want to.
It's not necessarily like a healthy thing, but I think it is a very identifiable thing. It's very recognizable. It's you don't even have, like, you get it immediately, which is always the thing with Fujimoto's dialogue, is that emotional undertones just that comes through perfectly. Which
it's very ironic, but there's like almost like a motherly understanding behind the energy, and not necessarily the healthiest kind, but like you're not getting rid of me so easy, Denji. I think
a little bit,
and then you take that how you will, but because now he's not Makima, but
yes, and
it's very fun to pick apart.
It's a wonderful scene between Denji and Naito. We'll come back to that in a little bit. After that, we were talking a little bit about Nayuta's morality. Well, here it is. I'm finally alone, which means I can kill all the humans that I want now.
Yeah.
As a devil fan, I'm a fan of the devils in Chainsaw Man.
But she automatically goes like, this is not as fun as video games.
It's funny.
She's not into it. She's not interested.
Yeah, he's more fun.
That's the big issue,
She's not doing it for the love of the game, but she's totally cool with doing it.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because that kind of goes... Okay, it doesn't go completely against what we know about devils, but we know they have like an instinct to hurt people.
That's true.
It's definitely like not weird, but an interesting remark on like the entire lore of devils that we know.
Yeah,
but it is kind of similar to what we saw with Power through the end of part 1.
The thing is that Power, even when she was like, close to Denji, she still had like those moments where she was like, a bloodless fucker. Like, when they were...
that's true.
Even when they were like on the hotel, for example, when everyone was crying and Himeno was like losing her mind, she was laughing with the Eternity.
That was funny.
Yeah, but that was very early. Like, that was early Power.
And then there was like Makima's trash at the end, for example, too.
Yeah.
So they do have like those bloodlust kind of moments. So it's interesting to see this like reversal on the instinct.
I think
maybe Nurture Bros are winning far beyond what we even thought we want.
Oh yeah, Nurture Bros are winning, but also there's the whole revisit. I feel like we haven't had a reason to do this in a while since early part 1, but just revisiting horseman traits with regard, compared to normal devil traits. They seem to be much more agenda driven, like every one of them. Than
did you just say agenda?
Yeah, like they have their own. I know, like Twitter, but genuinely, they all have some agenda compared to, and this could just be a screen time thing, but compared to like a Beam or some other literate devil, they clearly play more of a long game with regards to their wants and needs.
My goat Beam? Come on.
They probably just have a bit of a different makeup, but are still totally fine with killing people.
Beam was in fiend mode. Okay, he was confused. He probably has some. The shark devil probably has some deep meaningful core.
Except for Violence Devil, I don't know what's going on with that guy.
I don't know what's going on with Violence either. We didn't even get to explore Violence. That's like true. My one gripe with part 1. Like, what the hell was Violence?
That dude was funny.
Yeah, unfortunate characters like that.
Yeah.
Nayuta, she does a little killing. Okay, everybody calm down. All right, she does
Yep.
A little homicide. Okay, it's self-defense.
She let that falling fight happen longer than she needed to. Yeah, she's cool with that.
Who knows? But she doesn't care that much about human life. Very clearly, but she doesn't even care enough about it for it to be interesting to kill. So she's bored here. Then the nut kick. She gets a good kick in.
Yeah, the power technique, the family technique.
It is
okay.
It's the classic Denji finisher.
Yeah, the classic. She's pulling out all of your favorite memories, guys.
I know.
Don't you love this character right now? Look at that.
Yeah, exactly. We're about to hate now.
Oh God. Okay, end of the chapter.
I see what you're doing, Fujimoto.
What I love about this is that
Fujimoto.
It's like very conflicting in general for Nayuta's character because she's not averse to violence and can you like enjoy it on like a friendly setting like with Denji for example, but when it is like a serious situation we completely see it like a reversal of like how she thinks about violence. So
it's a means to an end.
Yeah, exactly.
Much like Makima, honestly.
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
Yeah, Makima was not much of a fighter. She had to like steal all her moves.
Just had a goal.
She's like one of those girls that have like a poppy Instagram.
Yeah, I can see that. That's fine.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
They're evil in real life.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. Well, speaking of Nayuta and violence, let's talk about the last.
Oh yeah, she hit Baron with the like, I am a minor and neurodivergent.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the chapter.
Yeah. Stop! I'm just a kid. Yeah. Barem does not care. He came. He came ready.
To be fair, she wasn't saying that to Barem. She was saying that like normal people that could actually.
Barem knows the score.
That might actually listen. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do y'all think?
Of the end?
Unlike the Glock, the Baron Glock.
Are we? Is Nayuta losing?
I don't think she's gonna die.
Nayuta dies if that's what you're asking.
I know this is Fujimoto. Like this is Fujimoto, but no, I don't think.
No, even that. So like, I was discussing this with a friend when the chapter came out. Like when the chapter came out, I was discussing it with a friend, and I told him like, no, she's not gonna die. And then my friend is like, oh, but it's Fujimoto, and I'm like. Have you read Fire Punch? Even in Fire Punch, like the important kids do not get hurt. So of course she's not gonna get. Oh, okay, she might get hurt, but she's not like gonna die.
No way, Power's gonna die, right? There's no shot.
Power
can't die.
Okay, here's the thing.
I'm still saying that.
Okay. Fujimoto is not gay. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
What I'll say is I don't know that Nayuta's safe for the duration of part 2, but I think she's safe as long as she's separated from Denji. I think if she died, Denji would probably be closer to the scene.
She did have that flag of telling Denji that he needs her, which is like, bam, now you don't have her.
That's true.
But I still don't think. I still think it's kind of early for Nayuta to, because we haven't done pretty much anything. Yeah. We don't have anything. Haven't done anything with Nayuta. Well, we have done some things, but I still think there's still a lot to explore with Nayuta's character.
I think
that she needs to be around for.
Wait, that's the thing. Okay, so the reason I don't think she's gonna die is because if she dies now, I think the potential for the clash between Asa's world and Denji's world diminishes a lot, because a lot of that hinges on what characters survive and manage to interact with each other when this whole thing ends,
Sure.
So Nayuta interacting with Asa, for example, should be a great thing later on. But even going beyond the stakes of the current arc,
Yeah.
And I know you're laughing, but I don't think Fujimoto is that, sadistic. He's not gay.
I mean, he is, but I think
he is. Fujimoto's sadistic.
But he is, but he still cares about the story the most, I think. So he'll not just kill a character that he still needs to, I guess.
Here, to humor the idea of Nayuta dying, I think the uncomfortable conversation is that to some degree, because we've spent this entire arc basically deconstructing the idea of normalcy and moving towards freedom. And obviously it's a very unhealthy version of freedom right now, mostly because Denji can't help his circumstances anymore. But, that's something that's also not happening with Nayuta around, psychologically speaking. So I think Nayuta's safe for now, but endgame, I could see something happening to Nayuta because, I mean, how good is all of this really for him?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I actually have another a counter question. Do you guys think Dharma is going to survive this arc?
Do I think who's surviving this arc? Sorry,
Baron.
I think so. I can see him survive. Yeah, I think he's going to be a villain for a while. I don't think he's going to be the main villain at the end, but I think he's still going to be around for a little bit.
I actually want him to be the main villain, not as in a worse sense. Of course he's not gonna solo the verse. He's fucking flamethrower hybrid, but I think as a foil to Denji, it works really well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's very obvious he's going to live because we haven't had him in his flamethrower form again yet.
True.
Which is
I don't think it's an accident that we've gotten so much paneling of him as a human in recent chapters.
I just think that Fujimoto likes to draw his fucking form. I'm not gonna lie. That's the same reason. I'm gonna say this again. I think the only reason Fujimoto draws Baron without transforming is because he likes drawing Baron, and it's the same reason why he drew Fumiko with a crop top. You cannot tell me that he was arching her back that much just because he was bad at drawing. No, that man was horny when drawing that. Nobody can tell me otherwise.
He's an absolute freak. All right, he's got his mind in all the wrong places all the time. That's why we fuck with this ridiculous manga. Okay, you all said a lot of very compelling narrative points as to why Nayuta's going to live, and none of you have given me any sort of explanation about what the fuck is going to happen, because Baran wants
it's a gunshot. I mean, I can still...
If you want my guess, because Nayuta's not dodging bullets.
Gun. It's going to be fine.
We have a devil here. So I mean, if Nayuta was a human, I would understand it, but she's a devil. And I know that she doesn't have the immortality contract that Makima had, but as long as there's somebody coming,
right now.
For power to die, she had to be completely obliterated, just the head and the legs, basically. I don't see a gunshot killing Nayuta just instantly.
Actual next action, I don't think Nayuta gets shot. I think we haven't seen Yoshida in a while for a reason. He's probably going to pull his little octopus arm thing.
I do
know. Unironically though, he might care about Nayuta more than everyone but Denji at this point, for reasons that will soon to be.
I don't know that either.
He seems to care a lot about Denji's situation, but
he does care, but I'm not sure if he cares about Nayuta specifically.
And I also think he doesn't want to be near Yoru at all. So
I will say, I think that Nayuta is gonna leave this situation very scarred emotionally, because I think it's the first time ever she's faced with like, well, not only like her house burning down, but this is her first time dealing with like wounds. You know,
Yeah.
she's had it pretty good with like living with Denji. So this first time she's gonna fucking die. Technically, she gets it.
Fami might kind of salvage the situation at the last second, just because she wants her horsemen sisters around, just for this whole anti-apocalypse thing. And Barum listens to Fami, so
I'm gonna go full Jake mode and copium mode and say it's gonna be power. Power is gonna come up.
I'm sorry, you're too having copium right now. That's not gonna happen.
The Fumiko Blood Devil narrative is not looking good, by the way.
Fumiko's gonna save Nayuta. She's gonna come back like
her ass is fucking dead.
It's gonna be Kishibe. Yeah. This is the comeback.
Kishibe will save her.
Actually,
that's good. It's actually kind of good.
I could see that.
Real talk, I don't want like any more characters to come back for like the foreseeable future, because we already introduced so many characters and a lot of them are like barely explored as of now. Like, okay, we can have like, you know, a violence fiend situation where we like just give hints of a bigger picture with some of them. But I do want more like, I don't know, Miri, Joshida, and everyone, for example. I feel like we haven't explored them fully yet to like be, you know, delving into even more characters.
Yeah.
You know, we don't even know why when she is here, story-wise. Like, she's just making the stakes lower. That's her whole thing right now.
The thing is,
and I love her.
We're not going to get some of these you know, reintroduced characters. We're not going to get like what we have of them without other characters coming in, right? Like, there's no sort of story.
You know what would have been peak fiction? Fucking Falling Devil arc ends, Rese comes back, and we have love fucking triangle. That would have been peak fiction.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm glad Fujimoto's in the booth right now.
do not want Chainsaw Man shonen school rom-com.
No,
not written by Fujimoto. Okay,
I mean, the constructed version of it that was Asa's arc, good. What it sounds like we're asking for, bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going with the. Not going with the full-on rom-com.
Please.
You guys cannot see the vision.
I would appreciate a Rize comeback, but don't do it as shipping bait for Denji. Let Rize be her own character this time, for the love of God. That's all I have to say on that.
Ooh, shit. There's now I want to talk a little bit about what we're thinking going forward from this arc, because I do think, like, realistically,
sure,
we're cutting out. Realistically, we're not seeing anything that happens with the gun, right? Like, because what?
Yeah, I could see a POV swapper right now.
Right, like that. If we did, that would be the break of the series from its two protagonists. It would be unprecedented in Chainsaw Man narrative history for the story to just keep going. And both protagonists are just
like, what is he doing?
Just wandering around. Who gives a shit about these two characters? Kishibe is fighting Barem to save Nayuta.
That would be funny.
That'd be great. It's not happening, right? Like,
yeah,
we'll find out what happens with Barem and Nayuta probably later on. But we're either going to Denji's place or going to Asa again.
After chapter 147, I think anything's possible, to be honest. Like, remember when that chapter came out? And everyone was like, oh my god, 16 chapters of Quan Chi biting Fumiko's tummy. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We were still, that was still, Denji and Nayuta were there, right? Like,
fair enough.
Maybe.
It cuts to nail scene in Katana Man.
I mean, this is that classic like B movie shit, right? That Fujimoto loves. Like, the gun.
can't stick to it again. It's hectic.
And then you know what would top it all off? Like if he does that, and then there's a 3-week break or a month break.
Oh my!
I feel like that would be like the ultimate troll.
2 months hiatus. I mean, at this point, though, if he cuts away from this, it could be months, could be the whole year. We do not know what happens either. Potentially.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
There's one thing. So? Okay. I want to bring up a discussion that came up when this chapter came out. I know this is like beating a dead horse, but there's like the Glock that's like super detailed, and then there's a hand. What's your guys' opinions on that?
That is funny.
I mean, the hand is very detailed. Well,
yeah. I mean, obviously the gun was probably like some texture,
a tree model or whatever.
Yeah, probably, or maybe like an assistant did that.
Yeah, that is really well drawn.
This kind of like mechanical stuff is not that hard. Yeah. Like if you have a reference, you just kind of
Oh god, it's terrible.
But it's digital. Yeah, it is digital art, right? Fujimoto does digital. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
right.
He does
might
digital.
be using an asset. He has used some assets in other places.
I was thinking, like, if you guys ever read Mashal, that's also a manga where the characters are shit. I'm sorry. And there's like backgrounds, they're like amazing, and it's clear like it's not the same guy. It's not the same guy. And people are like, oh my god, his art is now amazing. It's not. It's someone else did that.
I think it's just like the contrast, because I think Fujimoto like shot himself in the foot by making the art in early part 2 so good.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I don't think that's sustainable.
Like Look Back, people are like always comparing it like with Look Back and Goodbye Eerie.
Goodbye Eerie.
It's like that was months probably on that one.
Well, if that was releasing as a serial, it would have been, I think, like 14 pages a month or something. Like something like that. If you did it, over the course of, you did it with a similar. If you blocked it out over the schedule, the time that was spent producing it, it would be, nothing. You would get, which is not a monthly schedule. That's like half of a monthly schedule. So it's very slow and deliberate.
I mean,
I do want to. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, not everyone can be Boichi drawing like 5 manga at once.
Oh yeah, Boichi's fucking crack. I don't know how. Oh no. Okay. Boichi's crack, but he cannot draw woman. That's like that's like a devil. Yeah. That's like a devil contract he made. You may draw a lot, but you will never be able to draw a woman.
Yeah, he has a. It's not that he can't draw. It's that his hard sell for women is bad. I'm sure if he wanted to change the art style, he could do it, but for some reason he does not.
There was one time where he did it, and it was like good. I remember it just looked normal. Like it wasn't.
I'm sure he can do that.
No, it was with Yamato of One Piece. And remember, because he only draws men well.
Yeah.
So he drew Yamato well.
Yeah, he did with the Yamato One Piece. That's right.
Yeah, that was like the meme.
Yeah, exactly. It looked good. So
I do have another thing to ask you guys. Who do you want to appear back on the story? Because now we have a lot of characters.
I just want power, man. I just want power.
Other than
power man. Y'all are so fucking got nothing going on right now.
So if we ignore the main characters and the characters that have not been reintroduced yet, from the ones that have been reintroduced, who do you want to see more from, going forward?
Like the side characters? Nobana.
Yeah.
Higashiyama.
Oh yeah, Nobana. I do want to see about Nobana. I want to see about the student worlds.
I'm carrying Higashiyamas. I was Kibeni fan part 1. I am Nobana fan part 2. I want to know what's going on with this little freak.
I reread part 2
there with the chainsaw guys
minutes ago, and I was startled by this because we haven't come back to this in a while. remember when the fucking like old man in the building, like the Chainsaw Man Church, was like, "Hey, you're the founder of the fucking Chainsaw Man Church," to like Haruka, and I was like, "Okay, what?"
Haruka's also interesting.
Yeah,
Haruka
like,
also saw. Haruka is now, besides Denji and Nayuta, the only person who knows that Asa and Denji went on a date to their house.
I know that's gonna. I just have it on my mind. I know that the payoff for that is gonna be like Haruka telling Asa, "Hey, he didn't suit you up. You did go on a date together."
What happened when you and why did you and Denji? Why were you guys going? What did you guys do? And she's like, "What? That didn't happen." He's gonna be like, "Yeah, it did. I followed."
Yeah, it did happen.
What the fuck? He's gonna yell at him. He's gonna go Asa hating mode. Yes, hater Asa. Where's any Asa, dude? I don't care.
I just need more. I think.
I feel like I'm not coping when I say it is actually like we're about to switch back to Asa Yoru soon.
It would be
Denji's incapacitated, and I don't think we're getting an arc of Nayuta.
Yeah,
I have my expectations very low because I don't want to be disappointed by this arc.
Like, I genuinely don't think there's much left to cover.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen,
Valentine's Day
guys.
is getting a Yoru shot. I'm sorry.
It's not gonna happen, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's not gonna be wholesome by any means.
You guys can. I'm betting my fucking life on this. You guys can add me on Twitter if this does happen. Yoru is not going to appear next chapter.
No,
Shut the fuck up.
No, I think we have one more chapter of this.
Yeah. One more chapter.
I'll say one more chapter. That's my bet.
I think that's it.
Soon, February.
We're packed up. This is the end of Denji Nayuta daily life arc. Their house is burned down. Denji
never to return.
Nayuta and Denji are separated. Brem has Nayuta at gunpoint, and we will find out what happens with Nayuta
next month
at a later date. At a later date, who even knows? Because we have so much shit in this manga where you're like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen with that. It has been over a year since we saw Yuko with Chainsaw Man on the roof.
God, I need Yuko back.
Oh my
God. Happened with that?
The fucking Freckles man
was on that.
You think Freeloader just forgot? People are like, what happened to Yuko anymore?
Who? Yeah, I don't think so, but you never know. He's pretty busy.
Like the biggest talking point was like the fucking Fixo man, and now we have like all these fucking theories. Like, where did he go, man?
That's why we're overdue for Fami. For getting Fami content.
You know, I am a Seiki.
Who is Fixo?
I am a Seiki Okoku believer. I think he's gonna be the Fire Devil.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be an Acne reference.
Is the Fire Devil?
No!
I don't hate that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
I think Fake Saw is a third party. I think we have.
It's gonna be a random human.
Kind of. I think it might be Seigi, but I think we've got the church, or we haven't seen Seigi with the church, even though we saw everybody else involved with the church. And we have public safety, and we have seen both of them are shit, right? Both of them are trash. So in part one, it was kind of like we had public safety and they were suspicious and creepy, but like they also had like good people in them or whatever.
Yeah.
This time, everyone just see like it's all shit everywhere you go. So where are like there's gotta be a third thing.
Who's the least shitty public safety agent at this point? Yoshida, I guess.
At least on panel. I don't even think they're trying to be bad. They're just like negligent. Like they're incapable and negligent. They're not even like trying to be bad.
The whole like Denji surveillance stuff.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Their government's kind of bad.
The like threatening. Yeah. Well, they did like capture Denji and like take all his
Prime Minister acting up ever since he lost Makima.
They were like, we can jail you forever at any time because you're like a devil. And so, hey, check that out. You and your sister, we can just do that. And I was like, oh, so you guys, wow, that's great. Love you guys. You guys are
that's
cool.
Crazy. I'm still surprised how willing to do that was Denji. Like I didn't expect him to. Yeah, I didn't expect him to fight back entirely because he does care about Nayuta, but I was surprised at how willing to do it. Because he was during the a cherished feelings chapter, for example, where he talks about how a normal life is great and he's down for this. And I know that can be read as him just coping, but still I feel like it's very willing because he's fairly willing to do that because it's just been a couple of chapters from when you started being surveilled,
Yeah, I mean, Denji does what he has to do to get what he wants. He doesn't care about being degraded per se. At least
we've seen that over and over again.
At least he's used to it. Yeah, he'll do it. He does. He doesn't necessarily like it, like anybody, but he will do it. He'll do it.
You should have stalking him and then let him sit on him like a scene.
Yeah, that's $10. Free 10 bucks.
Real shit.
That's 90 yen, which is not great, but it's better than it is now. Okay. That aside, yeah, I think we've covered most of this chapter. This one's real tough. At the end of the episodes, we like to talk a prediction of not what's going to happen in the chapter, just what's on the very next page, page 1 of chapter 155. What do you think?
It's gonna be Katanamon. I am telling you,
that would be the blue balling.
It's going to be Katanamon.
This one's crazy.
If it doesn't happen, add me on Twitter and mock me.
What's he gonna be doing though?
All you want. He's just gonna be there. Yeah. Just add if it doesn't happen.
Let's go.
I think
Katana. I could see it as the sad part. I could see it.
You see the vision.
Okay. I still think Asayoru shows up next chapter, but I don't think it's page 1. So
okay. Yeah.
I think it's going to be very sudden. Man.
Yes. What do I think? I mean, I'm just in full bias mode. I think we're just yours walking around with the sword and her arm.
I just love that she just has a bigger sword on the middle of the fucking
you see yours chasing Yoshida around.
Please.
The funniest part is that Joru is completely ignorant to everything that's been happening with the weapon humans. She's we just connected once the smoke energy.
So sick.
Yeah.
Do I want to be boring and say Nayuta inner monologue for the first page?
Nayuta
dodging, just a Nayuta flashback. No, we're not doing that.
She says, actually, Bram, you forgot about my Heian era technique. I developed this thousands of years ago.
Nayuta cast simple domain.
My lactation technique. I haven't used it in the Heian era.
Christ. That's serious.
First page is gonna be Baron lactating.
Ooh. Let's go.
Okay, you know what? I'm manifesting Asa too. I think it's going to be Yoshida
I
mean, I do want
somewhere.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I do want Asa. I'm just coping because
I feel it. Yeah. No, I completely understand. Not wanting to be disappointed. I think it's going to be Yoshida inspecting the damage of a Yoru rampage. I think that's what we're doing.
Psychology with Fujimoto. I so don't want Asa. I don't want Asa, Fujimoto. Do you hear me?
It doesn't matter. He knows we want it. Dude. You can't straight.
We are not going to see that pistol on page 1. That's all I know.
Freaky plan, dude. This fucking guy, I hate this. Anyway, Crash.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts?
I'm gonna do the boring follow up to the page, but what I think is we're not gonna see Nayuta. We're gonna see the random guy who's carrying Denji. He's walking, then stops.
Yeah.
And is like, what the fuck am I doing here? Then lets Denji go and leaves.
Okay.
You're like, what the fuck happened?
I love your mind.
Go.
I love your mind. That's so peak. I didn't even think that.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
That could absolutely be interrupted. Denji is not safe yet.
Yeah.
That's such a Fujimoto move. I didn't even think. Yeah, you're so peak. I'm following you, Ken.
Yeah, hold on. Your manga crap.
Yeah, he's go to Manga Crash right now.
Yeah.
Subscribe to subscribe to this channel. That's what it's called on
this
YouTube.
channel.
Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to Crash's channel, Manga Crash. He's talked about Chainsaw Man a few times. He talks about all sorts of other things.
I haven't talked about Chainsaw Man in a while, actually.
Follow our guests on Twitter. What was your guys' @? Mildly Anxious.
May Yenan. It's an old thing.
It's Dorky Ducks.
Dorky Ducks on
I do.
On Twitter, yes.
No
and we have May. We'll have it. I'll throw it up at the end here. Go follow them. Thank you everyone for coming on the show. It was very fun. This was this was another just chapter in this arc. And who knows what
next podcast is going to be real interesting.
Yeah,
they're all very interesting.
You know, maybe Fujimoto just trolls all of us and drops another 147. You know, who knows?
Just nothing happens. And, Knights of breakdances, and so does Brim, and then they just get back into the same position.
That would be too.
Yes, this chapter.
Anyways,
please. Well, we'll find out all about that next time. Thank you all for watching. Those of you who watched, thank you all for listening. Those of you who listened, see you next week for a new episode. Goodbye.
See you.
Bye.
Have a good one.